Okay, trying this again. Gotta love technology. What is up, everybody? Coach Jess here, and I just tried to do a live video, but I didn't like the way it turned out. You couldn't really hear me. There was a lot of static, so I'm going to do this again. The first time around, I tried playing a music clip um, from Micah Tyler called "Different." So instead of playing it, I'm going to read it. So luckily, I wrote out what he said in the very beginning of his song. This is a song that I hold near and dear to my heart, and it's one of those that I play anytime um, I'm feeling discouraged by something that I just can't control in my life. Uh, the the what's happening right now in my life is really this is about my uncle. He was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia just a couple years ago, and he's been fighting for his life ever since. This is my mom's brother, and her only relative, like her only living relative around here in this area, and also her only sibling. And this is her younger brother, and he had to have a bone marrow transplant done, and he's just, we were hoping for, a different outcome after this surgery he had, but it's actually causing a lot more complications, and um, it's hard to see my mom suffer, uh, watching her watch her brother suffer, my uncle. It's really, really difficult to see my mom in so much pain because, I could not even imagine what it would be like to have my twin sister um, going through this and having to sit by and watch uh, them just kind of deteriorate before your eyes. So what he said in this song in the very beginning, in the intro, I'm going to read it to you. It says, I wrote this song different a few years ago, but I feel like the Lord is teaching it to me in a whole new way right now. A few years ago, we found out that my grandmother has blood cancer, and as hard as it has been to watch her lose her hair as she takes treatments, her faith has remained intact. A few weeks later, Hurricane Harvey came for my hometown and in 2 days poured 44 inches of rain on my house. As we're cleaning up and in the process of replacing flooring and releveling the house, we keep waiting for things to get back to normal. And then a few days ago, we found out that my little brother has stage 4 colon cancer. After the shock and the tears, my family is getting ready to fight by his side as he gets his first round of chemo. And in the midst of all of this, the prayer that I keep saying is, Jesus, why can't you just change these things? Can't you just stop the cancer? Can't you just stop the storms? But he's chosen not to stop these things just yet. And I'm finding out that sometimes the best question is not, Jesus, can you change these things around me? But instead, God, can you change me so that I can handle these things that you're walking me through? And that has made all the difference. And I really, listening to him say those things really just struck me in a way that I um, totally understood. It was a complete aha moment for me. Sometimes, we try to pray away these things that are happening in our lives and um, wonder why. Why, God, is this happening to me? Why is it happening to my family member? And, why can't you just stop these things? Well, we don't always know what his reasoning is for why he does some of the things that he does. And sometimes we never find out. Sometimes we go our whole lives not really knowing, but it really was for a purpose, whether we see what that purpose ends up being or not. Sometimes it's for somebody else in our lives, whether we know them or not. Um, that the unfortunate situation or circumstance is happening. We all have a lesson to learn, and sometimes it takes certain things like this to learn them, which is something that I'm also learning. Uh, So I wanted to share that with you, and you know, all you prayers out there, if you guys would send a prayer to my uncle and pray, that we just get through it and however it's supposed to be and whatever God has in store for us, for him and for his family. Um, I'd appreciate that. So I'm going to share something that I have not shared with anyone really, or at least not many people, and it's about my own personal. I was born with a rare genetic blood condition that um, is incredibly crazy how I ended up getting it because it's so rare. The way that our genes, in order for our mom and our dad to have these specific genes, one of them had to have two of them. If they um, mutated gene, one of them had to have two of those, and that just happened to be my dad. And I just happened to be, because I'm a twin, and I have a twin sister, so I happen to be the twin that got it. And my whole life as a child, it didn't show up at first, except for what I would be doing. Things as a kid, my family would be like, why is this not a normal child? She always, wants to go to bed. She doesn't want to stay up and watch movies. And, I was always so lethargic and tired and didn't have that same energy that other kids had. So my mom, knowing that this wasn't normal because my twin sister was doing, acting like any normal child would. So we went to the doctor and they ran a bunch of tests and come to find out I have pyruvate kinase deficiency, which basically means my red blood cells get formed and then instead of lasting up to 30 days like they typically do with a healthy red blood cell, they attack each other and destroy themselves. So as soon as they're produced, they end up attacking and destroying themselves, and then my body is trying to work overtime to produce red blood cells to keep my body moving, to keep the oxygen in my body, and this causes a lot of pain, a lot of bone pain, my bones working overtime, and joint pain, and incredibly debilitating fatigue, which is um, the side effects that this condition has is debilitating fatigue was one of the first side effect, and the second one was the inability to work out. And I wasn't going to have that as the end all be all. I wasn't going to listen to that. I mean, you could tell me all day long just because I have something and it means that I can't do something, but I'm not going to just listen to that. I'm not going to just accept that. I'm going to do what I can. So what did I do? I jumped into bodybuilding and I jumped into powerlifting and I proved it wrong, And uh, here I am, fast forward years later after still trying to deal with how to overcome this condition I have. I mean, there's nothing that I can do to fix it, or it's not curable, but there are things that I can do within my control to help manage it, and that's one thing that I've been working on over these last several years. I have an oncologist, hematologist doctor that I've been working with for many years, and he's had me try everything from blood transfusions to bloodletting, having to get that extra iron overload in my body out. So they've had to bleed me like 2 units of blood every time, but then I didn't have enough red blood cells to do that every time. So, Charlie, my dog's crying. Um, so, it's just been a constant headache and battle my entire adult life when it came to trying to figure this out and trying to work with it and manage it. And then I got put on a particular type of medicine that you end up peeing out the iron. So the extra iron that's going into your body, you get rid of it through, urination. Hey, Melissa, good afternoon. How are you? Thanks for stopping in. Um, so that worked, but it was just a medication I'd have to be on my entire life, and it wasn't as effective quick enough to make it worth it, I guess I should say. So a few months ago, my doctor told me about this new medication, and it would be a trial medication. And he said that there's nobody in this area that's on it, so you'd be the first one to try it, and if it works, I'm going to give it to my cancer patients. So me being desperate for anything, any kind of help or relief in any kind of way, was on board, and I started taking it, and it made me extremely sick at first, and my bones hurt so bad, but that was like the norm. That was, I guess, to be expected, is what my doctor said. So, um, hugs and much love back to you. Thank you so much. Um, so here it is. It's been, and then they go from 5 milligrams to 20 milligrams to 50 milligrams. So it's been big jumps. Well, finally, things are starting to look good. Finally. I came back from my blood draw today. And if this tells you anything about my iron level, my ferritin level, your normal is supposed to be 15 to 150. And back 2 years ago when I started this, my ferritin level was 3,123. And that was affecting my liver. And that iron was getting into my liver and start trying to shut it down. Fast forward to today, and 2 years later, my my ferritin level is at 191, the lowest it's ever been in these few years of dealing with this. Now, again, the normal's 15 to 150, and I'm still high at 191, but wow, what a far cry from 3,123. And I just am so incredibly, I'm sharing a win. This is my win. I wanted to share it, and I am so incredibly happy that, we stuck with it. I stayed open-minded in trying new things, and I'm not going to let somebody tell me, just because I have a diagnosis, that I have to live by, the side effects or whatever it is they say that's going to happen during your trial, all those extra things, side effects and stuff like that, that crap that they try to tell you, that you can't do something. I'm not going to accept that. And I'm going to at least try it myself first before someone just dictates my life, you know? So the main reason, for talking about this was the beginning of this whole video was, sometimes we just have to ask God to just change us instead of changing the situation. Change our thinking and our thoughts and our words, like you hear me say all the time. You know, um, sometimes it's not about asking God, please change the situation that's happening. Why me? Why me? Sometimes it's just about, okay, God, what is it that you want me to learn from this? And help me to apply it um, in my life. Show me what it is you want me to see. And it has made all the difference in the world. So I encourage you to do the same. And I'm going to actually drop the music video to Micah Tyler's um, different song in the link. And I encourage you to listen to it. And I would love to know what you thought about it. Um, and yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys are having a great Transformation Tuesday, and that you guys are all hanging in there and just showing up. Just keep showing up, okay? I will talk to you guys all soon. Have a great day.